been talking about it. Y'all been talking about it. So let's go there. Let's go there. We keep having this, we need our own, right? Talking, creeping into our culture, and it's misguided. It's misguided and potentially lethal if we don't interrogate it, right? So here's the thing. Fetishizing segregation is not the same as advocating for autonomy. It is not the same. It is not the same. I need y'all to understand, under a leader like Trump, it's going to make it look like black empowerment. It's going to make it look like we was getting freedom. But it can be weaponized into sanctioned isolation and erasure. Okay? Sanctioned isolation. Do you hear what I'm saying? So the rise in discourse, right? Especially online, especially on the internet. I seen this video piss me off so bad. Piss me off so bad. Piss me off so... This girl on the talking about the take, she's sitting on a train talking about, oh, okay, we want segregation back. We were better off, you know, people always say this. People always say this stupid stuff. We were better off when we had our own schools, towns, and businesses. Integration destroyed the black community. We could go back to being separate from white people. Y'all hear this all day. I hear this all day. On the surface, it feels empowering, right? It references real things. References Black Wall Street. References, you know, all the catastrophes. I could go on and on. It references real things and the sense of the community that came with the self-reliance, right? But it romanticizes trauma and ignores violent context and invites structural danger into today's political climate. We don't need this right now. I'm telling you, we don't need this right now. But here's why it's dangerous, right? It ignores that segregation wasn't just separate. It was deliberately unequal. Okay? Deliberately unequal. The state withheld resources from black communities. Separate schools meant inferior funding. Infrastructure, safety, and medical care were all neglected. This was not thriving separately. It was surviving in spite of oppression. And this is something that I gotta stop hearing y'all say. Y'all keep saying, I made it. Right? It's like how black guys are like, I don't need no woman to make it. And I've seen black women go, well, you know, if we all in the same situation, how come we just hold it on? I have not described thriving one time on this page talking about black people. Only thing I talk about thriving is the hope in what we have already. But all of our history, right, when we thrived, cool. But if we consume the greater context, right, that is segregation, if you want to lock in with me, then don't play games. Don't play games like our history was just some kind of fun amusement park we got to dance through. We didn't get to dance through none of that. Right? And it erases state-sanctioned violence that accompanied black autonomy. Tulsa wasn't a tragedy because black people failed. And I really feel like that's what some of y'all are on. I really feel like that's what some of y'all are on type shit. It was a tragedy because white mob showed up backed by the government. Burned black wealth to the ground. Backed by the government. Y'all think they're just gonna leave us alone? How? Like, come on. Like, the entire country of Liberia is segregated from the United States. They push black free men, right? And free people, free women. Send them off, right? Right away. Did we help Liberia? Did we give them resources? Have we restored their economy? Are we talking about them right now? They won't talk about us then. They won't do it, right? And also, here's the thing. If segregation returns under Trump, it won't be black-led. It'll be state-enforced division, disinvestment, and surveillance. Okay, so under somebody like Trump, the desire to build your own gets co-opted. He's going to co-opt that. He's excited to hear us get like this. He's fanning for it. Okay, stay in your zone, stay out of ours. That's what y'all not ready to hear. Separate schools, funding, housing, and courts. That's what y'all not ready to hear. That's not empowerment. That is legal apartheid that we are advocating for as black people every time that we talk about segregation. Every time. And let's actually go back. Let's actually lock in. What is it going to look like under Trump? It wouldn't mean black. What would Trump segregation look like? It's not going to mean Black Wall Street 2.0. It's not even going to mean 1.5. It's not even going to be '07. Okay? School funding is going to get redirected into traditional, right? Traditional white communities under the banner of choice. Revival of red line style zoning, right? Through the freedom of association laws. Black cities rebranded as high crime zones, targeted for police overreach and surveillance. You think they just not coming in? We got to be serious about the problem, right? Like, be so serious. I was literally fighting not to crash out last night over this exact same topic because too many of us want to be middle class but don't understand how they are lazy. So too many of us are looking for a leader, looking for an option. Okay, advocating for segregation is advocating for state-backed displacement. And you'd see a federal rollback of DEI, fair housing, and anti-discrimination laws reframed as ending woke overreach, right? Some of this is sounding similar. And that's because we're playing into the psyop. We're playing into the psyop. Okay, so patriot-only economic zones that isolate white capital and exclude progressive black cities. Black institutions surveilled under anti-CRT or anti-subversion laws. He would not call it segregation. He would call it respecting local values. And that's what makes it terrifying. So what are the actual pros to segregation? Because the nut jobs are going to be talking about pros, right? But let's actually talk about this, right? So the yearning for segregation is really a yearning for safety, stability, and community control. I get it. There are values in this conversation, but they must be separated from the method. Cultural autonomy, right, is cool. Spaces for black expression, safety, healing, and storytelling without constant white surveillance sounds nice, right? Economic ecosystems sounds cool, right? Black businesses support each other, circulating the dollar within the community. You know, I spend $1, you get some of my change. That I get it. That's cool. Institutional control, black-led schools, clinics, media outlets, and that reflect black values and needs. Sounds like a fantasy. But these things can and should exist without racial apartheid. That's the reason why I'm talking like this. Because too many of y'all want to be white in my comment section. But here's these things. These things can exist without apartheid, right? They thrive best when they're built within a system that honors civil rights, economic fairness, and protection under law. Segregation in any form makes that impossible. So what's the alternative, right? Locking in. Stop asking the government to sort us out, to organize us into a neighborhood that works for us. Stop asking for that. Too many of y'all don't understand that asking for segregation is just asking them to rebuild Section 8. To rebuild public housing for all y'all. Again. Okay, like it's the exact same thing, but we don't want to talk about it because when we're most comfortable, that's when we talk about segregation. We don't talk about it when we're hungry. We don't talk about it when they shit on us. Okay, but we fetishize it. We fetishize something bigger than segregation. We fetishize respect. But the thing is that, and I'm gonna remove the word fetish because it's important you understand. Black people want respect and deserve respect. But arguing for respect and arguing for separation, they're two different words in this dictionary. So we need targeted reparations and land trusts, black-owned infrastructure and investment pipelines, independent media and education systems. Charter doesn't mean anti-public. Legal defense systems and political lobbies and cross-racial alliances that do not require assimilation and economic pressure campaigns, right, to build leverage. This is the new black power, not isolation, but insulation. Not retreat, but strategy. You have to see what I'm talking about. Don't confuse safety with separation. Don't do that. Black people don't want segregation. We want protection. We want self-definition. We want to stop begging to be seen. But if we ask the structure, right, the superstructure that tried to erase us, if we ask the people who tried to erase us, I want you to stay with me. If we ask the people who tried to erase us, right, for this self-definition, we risk handing our future to the same people who built the cage. We must build something new, right? Something free, something powerful. And I agree. But never again can we call our own exile empowerment.
Honestly, this video is just for educational purposes only, and credit to the original creators of every single clips and stitches we have in our today's episode. You know, these white folks love to threaten us with segregation. They love to threaten us with the fact that, oh, Trump is bringing back segregation. What do we do now? How do we go about it? And when I saw this particular clips of how our black men and women are educating us, I decided to bring it down here. And I also want to hear your own take in the comment section. But I'll come back and wrap up with my commentaries. Welcome back to the channel. My name is Sonia. Subscribe, like, comment, and share, and credit to the original creators. Let's go watch, guys. I'll be back.
Okay, so I have seen some really great think pieces and narratives and jokes about this whole segregation thing, but I want to be able to let you know that the whole segregation thing has nothing to do with black people and has everything to do with white people. Follow me, okay? So it reminds me of Toni Morrison, who is my favorite author. She is a black author, but she is my favorite author, period. And she was being interviewed by a white woman. And essentially the white woman asked, like, when are you going to elevate your writing and include the white perspective in it, like, or the right or the white gaze in it, as she would say. And Toni Morrison replied that I'm not. Because Toni Morrison believed that her books could be read by everybody, but she wrote her books for Black people. And if you're not a part of Black culture, there are certain things within our culture that mandates explanation so that those that are not a part of our culture can understand it. Toni Morrison took that out of her writing. So she said, if you get it, you get it. If you don't, then you don't. But I'm only writing through the Black lens for the Black experience and the Black gaze. That is it. And so when the lady asked that question, Toni Morrison said, I'm never going to do that. And the reality is that Black people live very, very full lives, and white people aren't even a thought. Like, Black people tend to live their lives in a way where we do not think about what white people are doing. And that is very true. It is very factual. A lot of Black people only interact with white people because they go to work with them. Right? So if they do not work with white people and you're Black, how many times are you socializing with white people outside of work? For a lot of Black people, you don't really socialize a lot of times at work, after work, with white people. And so when you have that reality, then it begs for you to be able to go down a line of questioning, right? Which is, what is the issue with segregation? And I've seen some white people on here that was like, white people should be saying that segregation is bad. And the reality is that no, that's not really the problem, right? Because the problem is that we were separate and not equal. That's the problem. It was the maltreatment. Because the reality is that we are no longer segregated, but yet we are still mistreated. We still are not offered the same amount of opportunities. We are still not paid the same rate. We are still not afforded the equality of it. So what white people did was, okay, fine. We will desegregate. It's fine. But once Black people entered these spaces, we were still being mistreated. And so the question could actually be, if we had equality, right? If we had equal access to buying land, equal access to be able to garner wealth, equal pay, and we were never desegregated, would desegregation actually be necessary? And there is when you take a look at what was happening with the Tulsa riot, is the fact that Black people were equal and separate. Right? They had land, they had businesses, they were accruing wealth. It was the wealthiest Black community. And white people who were not a part of the community, very much separate, and yet we are equal, right? They have banks, they have people that build, they have people that, grocery stores, they have houses, they have neighborhoods, they have milkmen, they have mailmen. White people have their own neighborhoods, white people have their own businesses, white people have their own groceries, white people have their own things, separate but very much equal. And white people looked over and said, what are they doing over there? And bombed it, right? Because otherwise, if Black people continue on prospering on their own, why would any Black person say, I need to be over there? There's an argument for that. And so then when you look further, taking a look at desegregation, right? Whose lives improved due to closer proximity of white and Black people? White people. Their lives improved. Their logic improved. All of a sudden, they begin to be enlightened on the reality of the fact that they themselves were lied to. Otherwise, had they not come into proximity with Black people, there is no reason for them to believe that their ancestors ever did anything wrong. Or there's also no reason to believe that they are more like Black people than what they were told. Because many, many years ago, the Republican Party, right? They said that the way that you are able to steal from poor white people is to convince them that they're better than black people. And if you can convince them of that, you can steal money from out of their pockets and they would never notice. So here we are, where we are no longer desegregated. And you see all over this app where you have white people that are learning a lot about historical truths that black people already knew. We already knew these things. But you have white people on a daily that are like, I didn't know that. That's not what I was taught. I wasn't taught that, right? You have whole religious sects of people that were literally taught that the Civil War was not about slavery. You literally have all of these white people that had no clue that Juneteenth existed, or why it existed, or how many years it actually took post-emancipation for the last slave to actually be freed. Proximity has caused for a lot of the misinformation fed to white people to perpetuate racism, to be dismantled. And so you literally have people that are white nationalists. I need you to follow. You literally have people that are white nationalists that are now running the Republican Party, right? In order for them to bring white people back into subjugation, we have to separate them from minorities, because they are learning truths that causes it to be extremely difficult for us to tell them that black people are subservient. Because proximity means that you are able to identify where we overlap. Now they're understanding the humanity of minorities. And now they're not going to go along with the Aryan beliefs that white people are the elite race and they are better than another ethnic group and they deserve to have things by virtue of them being white. Do you see how segregation has nothing to do with black people and has everything to do with getting white people back in line? Are you understanding what's going on here? Because it's never for the sake of black people, which is why black people is like, we cool. Segregate, separate, illuminate, elucidate, do whatever you got to do. And that is a very true reality. Because we have only known desegregation. But we have also only known that when we're in your proximity, we are still killed. We are still murdered. We are still mistreated. We are still shunned. We do not have the same access, even though we are in closer proximity. So if our lives have not changed by becoming in closer proximity, why would we continue to be close? Okay, separate us. But you have white people that are like, no, segregation is wrong. Why? Because your life has changed because of proximity. Are you understanding what I'm saying to you? Do you get this now? Are you tracking? The segregation thing has nothing to do with black people and everything to do with trying to put white people back in their place. Okay? Thank you for coming to my TED Talk.
So I had some white colleagues ask me what I thought about Trump actually segregating whites and blacks. And I actually told them straight up, like, honestly, I would love that. Now, they looked at me like I was crazy and they almost spit up their almond milk. And I think they thought that maybe I was saying that out of hatred, but it really isn't about hatred. Here's the thing. I'm not talking about their version of segregation. See, I'm talking about our version of righteous separation, spiritual sovereignty, and black sufficiency. See, the truth of it is that integration was never about freedom. It was finesse. It was a system's way of saying, let's stop them from succeeding independently so we can profit from their brilliance directly. It was about control. And so I want us to be very clear about this. You know, we were never separate but equal. So that's a lie. We were separate and excelling. We had our own schools, we had our own banks, we had our own businesses, and baby, we were thriving. Black Wall Street, they burned it. Rosewood, they bombed it. Wilmington, they overthrew it. Why? Because we were doing too well without them, and they couldn't handle that. And so that's the truth. They didn't really want segregation gone. They wanted control. This is why we know that integration was just repackage of chains. When we were separate, we actually were building and excelling. And when they saw that we could excel without them, then it was like, oh no, we got to take control and make sure that their labor is profiting us. So right around that time, they rolled out this whole standardized testing, ACT and SAT. Y'all remember that? They created this IQ ranking to measure their norms, not our brilliance. And then we were said we were behind when we really weren't. We were just building our own lane, not asking for theirs. See, I don't know about you all, but I'm kind of tired of the lies. It's very exhausting, you know, just the lies that continue to be promoted. And I want to talk about the melanin, because this whole thing that we're not smart enough, that we're not bright enough, is simply just a lie. And so, you know, all this testing that they're doing, and I have kids in school, and they're made to feel that they cannot achieve. And I have to remind them about their actual superpower, melanin. See, not just your skin tone, but in your brain, specifically neuromelanin, that rich dark pigment found in areas like the substantia nigra, which are critical for learning and memory and decision making and emotional regulation. See, if you don't know, then you won't know how to respond. But when you learn about the studies that have actually linked the neuromelanin to higher concentrations and how it's related to enhanced memory and processing and higher intelligence and faster reaction times, then you know why they have hidden this information for so long. Because when you have higher melanin, you have stronger brain resilience against degenerative diseases. So translation to that is melanin doesn't just make you glow, it makes you grow. So we know that it's not coincidental that people with more melanin have historically been creators, inventors, innovators across every discipline, while also being the most suppressed, because they know that the more melanin you have in your body and in your brain actually produces higher intelligence. So the Bible also says this too in 2 Corinthians chapter 4, verses 7. It says he placed treasures in earthen vessels. What treasures? It was in us all along, right? So we have more melanin, and we know that people with less melanin, because it's a recessive gene and it's a mutation, lack the same level of intelligence, of many different benefits that come along with that. What's so interesting about it is that we're supposed to be looking at this as if it's something negative. But why is it negative when every other cultural group does this? Group economics. See, the truth of the matter is they have stolen from us so many different things, and yet we still survive. And so I don't want to offend, but I have to be blunt here. When we invented it, they patented it. When we built it, they banked on it. So everything we created, they made sure they benefited off of it. Just like Louis Latimer, he actually developed the light bulb, but Edison got all the glory for it. And this has been going on through history. We know that Granville T. Woods laid the foundation for trains. Corporations got the contracts. Dr. Patricia Bath revolutionized eye surgery. The system licensed the tech. Black music became white record labels, billion-dollar industries off of our talent. Every time we create, they capitalize. We are the genius. but they control the royalties. It's quite interesting, isn't it? So when we talk about the facts and segregation, I want to be very clear. It's not racist. We have to understand the dynamics of this. See, the black dollar actually is the fastest running dollar in America. So let's do the math here. And I think it's quite funny. Black people have spending power over 1.6 trillion. But guess what? That dollar stays in our community just for 6 hours. While the white community, their dollar stays in their community 17 days. And guess what? Asian communities, it stays in their community 20 days. Jewish communities over 3 weeks. Why? Because we're systemically disarmed from owning what we build. And this is no coinky dink. The scripture said this would happen. So now our dollar does the labor, but the system collects the check. And this is why I support segregation on our own terms. See, that 400 years of slavery is over. And when I say that I want us to be segregated, I don't mean oppressed. I mean organize. Let's build black banks again. Let's educate our babies on the truth, not whitewashed lies. And let's support black farmers, black techs, black healing, black brilliance. And no, it doesn't mean I hate white people. No, it means I finally love us enough to stop begging for scraps from a table we built but never welcomed to. See, the Bible told us about this, yet we hop, skip, and jump over the fact that Deuteronomy 28, 43, and 44 already said it. It says, the stranger shall rise above you high, and you shall come down low. They shall lend to you, but you shall not lend to them. And this is exactly what has been happening for 400 years plus years. We built houses, businesses, schools, and they took them and taxed them to death. But beloved, there's hope, because Deuteronomy 30:3 also says, and Yah will turn your captivity and have compassion upon you, and will return and gather you from all nations. So yes, I welcome segregation because restoration is already in motion. And I want y'all to understand this. We are not asking for more. We're building. See, we were never given anything from you all. I'm not asking to sit at somebody's table anymore. See, I'm trying to go along with scripture and build my people, gather my people, not because they are more melanated, but because we need to know that we serve the Most High and that He's going to take care of us, because separation was never our curse. It was our covenant. And now it's our strategy. It says to come out from among them, be ye separated. 2 Corinthians chapter 6, verse 17. So this isn't about racism. It's about us reclaiming what is already ours.
Anyways, welcome back, guys, and thank you so much for watching. Hope you guys literally enjoyed every single clip I was able to roll out for you guys. And let me know in the comment section the particular part that stood out for you, the particular words that actually stood out for you, because like I said, this is just for educational purpose. So let me just go ahead and drop my 2 cents and boom. See, segregation, as far as I'm concerned right now, is not the issue that Black Americans are having. It's not the issues that will even make Black Americans think. It's not even the issue that will make Black Americans panic. Because I feel like a lot of these people think that the moment we hear segregation, we are scared, we are crying, we are rolling, we are this, we are that. While in real sense, we know that once this kind of thing happens, it's going to even be more profitable for us. And that is why they know from their fullest chest that they can't even implement it to the fullest. That's just the honest truth. Because what do you want to use and threaten Black people? Is it Black doctors? Is it hospitals? Is it schools? Like, what literally do you people have that make you think that segregation is actually the goal for you? So that is why Black people are not even bothered. Black Americans are not even bothered. Like, they don't even give an F about it. Like, they don't even see anything when these people are always talking about the segregation of a thing. You understand? And a lot of these white people are still surprised. Why are they not bothered? Because I keep saying it, Black Americans have gone through worst phase of life. They have gone through the worst part of life. Do you get? So if they have gone through all of that, you think that this thing called segregation will not make them feel so bad? will not make them feel like, oh my God, it has happened. How do we manage to cope? How do we move? How do we learn? How do we do this? Black Americans are not in for all of that. The only thing they are interested right now is how to move on with their life, how to make it in life, how to provide for their kids, how to show up every day, how to be happy, how to live life to the fullest. Do you get? Because it's from these words of segregation that when a lot of all of these Latinos and Hispanics are hearing that, oh, segregation is back, that is making them saying, oh, let's see what Black Americans are going to do now. Black Americans are going to get deported. They're going to get deported. They're going to get deported. Why the real people are even talking about, they don't even care. They don't even see you. They don't even see this thing called segregation. So it's baffling a lot of white people, even up to date. That is why whenever they see black excellence speaking out, they get so angry, they get so mad, they rage so hard. Because in their widest dream, they have never one day sat and imagined that black excellence will come and overshadow them. Black excellence will speak more than their own. Because they think that they literally own everything. So if you check in the other clip that I was able to roll out, Black Americans are saying, bring back segregation. Bring it back. Let's play the game. Let's see who is going to lose. And let's see who is going to win. Anyways, let me know, like I said, which particular part stood out for you in all of this clip I was able to roll out. And credit to them. Go support them. That's why I have their YouTube, their TikTok handles there. Support them, guys. And guys, if you haven't subscribed, subscribe, like, comment, and share. Credit to the original creators of every single clips and stitches we have in our today's episode. And I want to say a very big thank you to every single one of you liking, commenting, sharing, dropping super thanks. Also join my membership. I do not take you guys for granted. You guys are absolutely the best. And yes, guys, with that being said, with no further ado, I do like I always say in my videos, I'm going to be Simba, and I'll see you guys in my next one. For now, bye guys. I love you guys.